Well, welcome back, everybody. Today is Friday, the 24th, I believe, of April. We are into the COVID shelter at home, I believe 42 days, if memory calls correct. On Wednesday, it was 40. We kind of felt that was biblical, as we get to 40 days and 40 nights of quarantining. But it's been a ride for everybody, I'm sure, a difficult one, as we've looked at businesses throughout the county, throughout the state, and really throughout the country. We see the impact on them. We see the impact on families as we come home, the stresses that have appeared that maybe weren't there before, as we all had our busy lives where we were running. If you're in my case, you're shuttling our daughters from sporting event to concert to theater to anything where we really didn't have time for family. So in some regards, there's been some good things that come out of this, because I see my kids now. We have better conversations. We're having dinners at the table and instead of out, obviously. We're playing a few games at night and getting some family time in that regard. But there's other stresses that have piled on for many of us out there. And obviously, as we talk today, the big topic I think we're going to be talking about is Weld County and what Weld County is doing to come out of this. And so if you have questions about that, feel free to send them in. Like I said, I think we're 42 days in. My hair's getting nice and bushy. I don't know what everybody else looks like. As commissioners, we're all comparing how much our hair has grown. I know I've got friends that send pictures at night, and we do funny things showing what we would look like or whatnot if this continues on longer. But it's been good. So we'll get through a few of those things. Who on Saturday got the opportunity to see the Air Force Thunderbirds fly over the region? I know I did. We were expecting them at, I think, 12:30 or 12:50 to start in Greeley. They didn't actually fly over Greeley until about 1:30 or so, but they were still amazing to see. I don't know how many videos I actually took, though, of birds off in the distance, not thunderbirds, but birds themselves going, "Is that them? Is that them?" And I would start the video, and no, it was just some flock of birds off in the distance. So it was neat to see them, but how fast they actually fly. But it was an amazing tribute to our first responders, to our medical professionals that are risking their lives on a daily basis on behalf of our communities to make sure that we get that first-class health care that we've gotten here in this country. And so we are grateful for that. And it was amazing. I got a lot of pictures sent to me, a lot of comments, and it was just kind of uplifting. It was something for everyone to look forward to, or we haven't had a lot of stuff to look forward to here recently. So hopefully everybody got to see those. What I wanted to get started on talking about is it's been a busy week at the county. We had our board meetings. We actually got started off doing our land use hearings for oil and gas permits via Skype. We just implemented this because it still allows the public to watch them and have that public interaction that we need to have. But it also got some of these these hearings underway. And this is one of those good things that has come out of this, is we've learned to innovate and find some new methods to do some of the daily business activities we carry out in the county. We're so excited about that we're actually going to be implementing this in some other aspects of county business. So how can we incorporate that for individuals when we have land use hearings in front of the county commissioners? Well, we think we can actually incorporate Skype hearings into those. So if people are unable to come into our county offices, into our hearing room, and give public comment like they'd want or they want to watch, they're going to now be able to watch those on Skype, is what we're working towards. We don't have that ready yet, but we look forward to introducing that here very, very soon. So that's one of those technology advancements we've been able to bring forth, or we are bringing forth. I know the commissioners, we had our Wednesday morning State of the County address, which was exciting. And for those of you who aren't tuning in, I I encourage you to go to the Weld County website and you can live stream those. And we answer questions just like I do live from the audience, and we get your feedback. And throughout the week, you can send questions to askthecommissioners@weldgov.com. Again, that's askthecommissioners@weldgov.com, and you're able to send those questions in. We answer them live on the air, but if you've sent them in throughout the week, we actually are able to have those and give you answers to those questions you may have about how Weld County is operating now, before, whatever ideas we may have. So we're working through those. What I wanted to really focus on today is really the topic of I think what is on most Weld County residents' minds. It's on most residents' minds across the state and across the country, but getting opened back up. As we've sat here at home, quarantined or sheltered, many of us have lost our jobs. Many of us have lost our livelihoods, and things are getting tight. Things are getting, we're coming up with questions of how are we going to make these payments. We have had, this virus rip through our county, across the state, across the country, and we've really found American ingenuity really come forth in these moments. But in Weld County, we're also looking at other things. Suicides tend to tick up right now as people are leaning into bankruptcies, as they're running out of money. People become desperate, especially when they're sitting at home and they're feeling like, I'm able-bodied, I'm willing to get back to work. Please let us get back to work. Let me open up my small business. What can I do? I have the need to provide a living for my family, myself, and I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten, text messages, calls. Please, Commissioner Ross, what can you do to help us out while still keeping everybody safe? Well, we as the commissioners, as I teased a little bit last week, have been working on this diligently with our team. We really have some bright experts inside the county and outside the county where we've gotten other information. But we've also gotten information from residents across the county that have brought forth great information. They've brought forth metrics. They've brought forth good ideas to consider. And so to those of you who may be watching, I say thank you. To our team at Weld County, I say thank you. We are Weld Strong, and really I think we like to be out on the forefront of these. And what we did this week isn't a political move. This is a move really to help our residents of Weld County. And what are we helping them do? We're helping them exercise their liberties. We were given liberties here in this country. Many feel that they've been unjustly taken away from us at this moment. But as we look forward to reopening up, how can we open up responsibly? So if you noticed yesterday, we had a press release come out, and Weld County, as we start to open businesses back up, we look at this as a gradual reopening for Weld County. So we threw out some best practices or guidelines, similar to what the governor is currently announcing in a WebEx meeting that I just got out of. But Weld County already released these. And these best practices can be a starting point for businesses to make sure that they have many things in place to make the public feel safe to come out of their house. Does this mean businesses have to open come Monday when the governor's order runs out here on Sunday evening? Absolutely not, right? Those businesses that do choose to open, though, would be best served to follow these guidelines and these best practices. Because really, when we talk about this capitalistic society we live in, which I think is the greatest in all of the world, we give consumers and individuals choices on a daily basis. And up till about February 1st, our marketing, our advertising was focused on things like, hey, look at this product. It's the shiniest, it's the fastest, it's the strongest, it's the brightest. And maybe that's how some of our marketing will continue to go. But I have a feeling that the marketing efforts that are going to be brought forth are really going to be about, here, consumer, this is what we're doing to ensure your safety and ensure your health in these great times. Maybe it's still just doing drive-ups for getting food. Maybe it's starting to open our lobbies however, limiting how many people come in. We put together some guidelines because we think it's important. But what I want to stress before I go over those guidelines is maybe some misconceptions out there. Misconceptions. We aren't expecting this to be a free-for-all and just grand opening, get back to the way it was February 1st. In fact, the business owners I've talked to across our great county and in the mayor's calls that we had earlier this week, no one looks for that. In fact, no one wants that. This is going to be a gradual thing. In fact, if you have employees that can stay home and continue to telework, we encourage it, right, as we phase this in. Because quite frankly, most people aren't going to be comfortable going out of their homes yet and doing some of those activities that they were used to, say, prior to COVID-19. But what we as Weld County want to stress is Weld County government did not shut down any businesses for COVID-19. Therefore, truly, we're not opening up any businesses. It's you, the business owners, that have that liberty to make that decision. And in doing so, you're going to take guidance and you're going to inform the public on what you're doing to make them feel comfortable. And with that, let's go over some of those measures that you might want to practice so that people can express their freedoms, right? Freedoms to stay home, should they choose. In fact, if you're an at-risk population, that's probably what you're going to choose to do because you feel safest there. But it's your choice. It's not us telling you what to do or how to do it. Right? We want you to be able to exercise your liberties. And if you choose to go out, that's your choice as well. But I'm sure you're going to look at things and go, maybe that situation doesn't look good. Maybe it does. And let's get to it. So what we look for people to do is continue to practice social or self-distancing during these times. That 6-foot barrier is still important to help stop the spread of the virus from individual to individual. Wash your hands. How many times have I said this? I don't think the camera can pick it up, but my hands are absolutely cracked and raw from the amount of hand sanitizer and amount of washing that I do on these hands right now. And I'm sure many of you are feeling the same thing. In fact, it hurts when you do that. But continue to wash those hands 20 seconds with warm water. That breaks down that fatty layer around the COVID virus and kills it so that it doesn't spread. When we look at it and we look at that 6-foot distancing, maybe you're going to limit some of the interactions that come into your office. Maybe you only allow one person in at a time. Maybe you can handle more and you put spacing guidelines on the floor for your clients. These are some of those things that you could put in place. What I've noticed when I go to the grocery store to get groceries is they've put up plexiglass barriers. I call them spit barriers. I don't know what anybody else calls them, right? But we might as well have a little fun of it. I'm sure they call them sneeze barriers or whatever. But that way you give a line of protection between yourself and the customer and vice versa. Continue to wear those face masks. They can make you feel comfortable. They can help stop the spread as well. If you can, create a one-way flow design through your office so that clients aren't crossing paths, but yet they're going around. I know many supermarkets have adopted this, and here's what I say, right? We're not in the business as Weld County of picking winners and losers, and frankly, businesses that have been able to stay open during this time have innovated. They found ways to make those customers feel safe and want to come back to their store, and we're not inventing the wheel here. We're just kind of picking that wheel and bringing these to you, right? Keep clean and disinfected surfaces. This is important. Do it regularly. Wipe off door handles. Wipe off chairs. Wipe off counter surfaces. If you can and you have a credit card reader, let the customer put the credit card in the credit card reader without you having to touch their credit card. It's a little minor thing you don't think about, but if you exchange that card back and forth, you're transferring those germs. Keep hand sanitizer readily available for your customers. And if you're a customer, bring your own hand sanitizer. You'll probably feel more comfortable doing that, knowing that. But let's see here. When you use a disinfectant, here's a big thing that our team at Weld County notified me of. Make sure it's an EPA registered disinfectant. I guess these EPA disinfectants that are so registered actually have been proven to break down the coronavirus. So don't waste your money and time on other stuff that might be a gimmick. Make sure you're using stuff that's proven, or I would encourage you to do so. And if you're going to use hand sanitizer, make sure it's at least 60% alcohol based. It has to be that strong in order to break down that virus and kill it. Let's see here. Aren't these all common sense? I tell you, right? Ask someone to cover their mouth or nose if they're going to cough or sneeze. Genius. I tell you, I'm sure most of us have already figured this out, right? Kelly's laughing at me over here, but isn't that just what we do on a daily basis? I used to call that manners. I don't know about you. So as employers, what are things that we can do? Maybe implement a flexible sick leave policy for your employees, because absolutely, if you feel sick, you should be staying home until 2 weeks after your symptoms have subsided. As employers, we need to recognize that. So maybe you can work with them there. CDC has isolation guidelines for everyone to meet there. Have team meetings with your employees. Talk to them about how they can prevent the spread of that business. And it's important your team members are staying apart from each other. These are just suggestions I would make. I'm sure you've come up with many more. As I've talked with businesses across the county that have said nothing but thank you for giving us this opportunity. I tell you, they're coming up with ideas. They're like, we thought of this or we thought of that. And I'm like going, I would have never thought of that in a million years, but that's because your business is specific to you. You understand it better than I or any other government official could help to. And so with that being said, do what's going to be best for you. And here's the ultimate judge in whether you're doing it right or not. In a capitalistic society, that's going to be whether the customers come into your business or not. If they're not coming in there, you may kind of have it figured out that you might need to take another step to do something to make them feel comfortable to do so. Or maybe you change it up. Now you're providing doorside service instead of people coming in. You're asking for appointments. You're doing things a little bit different. So again, I'm excited about this. Maybe you change to varied work schedules, right? Have shift work, and where maybe you never did before. Things that are awesome, like Skype meetings, Zoom. Maybe more business gets done in that way. I don't know. You know your business better than I do. And if you're a customer and you want to go do business somewhere, give up that business a call and say, hey, would you consider doing a Skype meeting with this for me? I bet you more times than not, they're going to say, yeah, absolutely, I would, right? It's not worth you coming out if you don't feel comfortable. We want to help you out. So these guidelines that I've talked about today, our press releases, they're all available if you go to www.weldhealth.org. Again, that's www.weldhealth.org. On there, what you can also see, what we talked about last week, and I told you my team was putting it together, or our team was putting it together, was our new infographic that the county displayed. Everybody came to us saying we need more information so we can make these decisions on our own, whether we do feel safe starting to go out. So we put it up there. We put up an interactive map so you can, by zip code, see where the cases are in Weld County. You can see how many active cases we have, right? Well, it's not really active cases. It's how many people have tested positive. You can see the cases by day. You can see the total cases. You can see the total amount of deaths that we've unfortunately had here in Weld County, as well as the death count by day. And then you can see regionally how that's being impacted. So we tried to deliver as requested. I got a lot of great feedback because, again, information is powerful. As you guys remember, I was a little upset last week. Still am, and I'll bring this topic up. Last week it was about the CARE funding. And Congress and the President put out the CARE funding as a financial structure back to the states to help us get through this COVID crisis and bring money back. Well, what we shared with you last week was the way the governor and the legislature down there were rolling it out was only the 5 highest populated counties in the state were going to get any money. Those counties had to have a population over 500,000 or more, and then it would be up to the governor or the legislature to decide whether those monies went out anywhere else. Well, I asked you, as so did my fellow commissioners, to give some feedback to the state legislators, right, in this mission, and say it's not fair. We deserve money too. And I want to give kudos to Commissioner Kirkmeyer and my other county commissioners, but really she took the lead on this and has been working with the JBC. For those of you that don't know what that means, that's the Joint Budget Committee, to work in how this CARE funding gets put out. And what we've proposed and what we're bringing forth is really what's equitable. So prior to us getting involved, and we finally got a voice, and I want to say thank you to you guys for putting the pressure on, because without you, this wouldn't have happened. We weren't getting talked to. We weren't being given a voice. But prior to that, what was really being done was about $174 was going to those counties, those 5 counties, per person is what it broke down to. So a little over $500 million was being given to those counties. So what's going to happen now is we asked for, well, let's make this equitable. So we're saying we want $174 per person, per county, to go out from these CARE funds. And that way it's equitable on all means. And it's about $440 million that would be spread out among the remaining 59 counties across Colorado. Majority of the counties are on board with this. CML is on board with this. CCI, which is our professional organization for county commissioners, is on board with this. That way it gets spread out accordingly and evenly, and I would say fairly. What's this money used for? Well, it's not just to backfill the coffers. These dollars will be audited, and they have to be used in COVID response. That's easy for us in Weld County. As you guys recall, we had a flood here in 2013. We are used to those accounting measures, that auditing experience and showing where those dollars go down to the penny. And we are prepared to do that. We're prepared to help other counties who may not be able to do that. And that way we can bring those funds in and make sure that it goes towards the COVID response. Just got done having a meeting this afternoon, and we were talking with our head of the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center in Weld County, and we were tallying up. To date, Weld County has spent approximately $860,000 on behalf of Weld County residents. We've spent that money on PPE, which goes out to first responders, to our health department, to police departments, to fire departments, to ambulatory, to hospitals. That PPE is the face masks, the gowns, the goggles, the N95 masks, the gloves. We're providing those to our county to keep people safe. And that's how committed we are to your health and safety. And frankly, we expect to spend a lot more. And we don't have a problem with that, because that's really what we're here to do. But because we're stepping out right now with these guidelines, saying businesses, here's a way to get back open, the governor in his press conference right now that's going on simultaneously says he's having a stakeholder meeting. Well, I consider a stakeholder meeting something that happens prior to rolling stuff out, so that you get feedback that can actually be utilized. He's having it as he's announcing these things. But what he's going to say is he's saying that counties that don't just toe the line with what he has to say, he's going to take away their COVID-19 grant funding. So the monies that come from the CDPHE. And frankly, there we go again, right? The heavy hand of the governor. I think we've seen this before in history. But saying, I don't care about you, right? You don't understand your county better than I do, and therefore I'm taking your money away. He's also threatening licenses. He's threatening everything else. He's threatening us as being criminals for not following him. Well, frankly, I'm sorry, we're Weld County, and we understand Weld County the best, and we're going to do for our residents what we think is in the best nature. So with that answers one of the questions that we had come in this week, right? Lyle emailed in. He says, what's the status of getting our share of the assistance? And that's really where we're at, Lyle. We'll be fighting, obviously, for the CDPHE grants. But quite frankly, we've made the decision as a board of commissioners, should the state decide to continue to withhold that money from Weld County, we are prepared. We have good reserves. to move forward because we still feel we want to provide the solutions to Weld County residents and those preparedness activities for them as well. And we're not going to stop providing the PPE. We're not going to stop providing the other things that we've been planning to battle COVID-19. And so we will move forward with that regardless of what the governor does there. One of the other questions we had come in is from Dave. Dave asked, how will we know your plan is working? Is there going to be accountability, transparency, and measurable goals? Absolutely, Dave. Right? So we track this stuff ourselves on a daily basis because you can't just go about and have knee-jerk reactions. Now, again, I remind everybody, this is something none of us have been through. But it takes true leadership in stepping out and making sure that we're doing what is best for our residents. And so, yes, all those three things that you brought forth we're going to do. We'll continue to post the numbers online, showing you where our cases are at. Because it won't just be us seeing this information. It'll be you, the public, seeing it as well and making your own determination. There will be measurable goals, right? This is going to be a phased-in thing. When we talk about events where no more than 10 people can be at a time, well, at some point, those measurable goals will be there to where we say, okay, now we move to 50 people. Okay, now we move to 250 people being allowed at events while still practicing many of these social distancing deals. But people are going to use their common sense when it comes to these types of things. I know I talked to one of my friends that has a funeral home. His clients, as you can imagine, are they're struggling. They want to give a proper service to their loved ones that they've lost, not just to COVID-19, but to other causes as well. And so they're looking to be able to go out and be able to get back to business so that they can go out and give their respect to their loved ones. And I think there's ways to work around those things as well. We have a question here, but yes, I want to get back to Dave. And Dave, I promise you, we have those goals. We have that transparency. And as always, that's what we work towards in Weld County. So we have a question that came in.
Well, we do. I'm going to summarize 3 or 4 questions because they're all in the same vein.
Please.
This looks like a fight between the commissioners and the governor. And if you're a business in Weld County and you're afraid of getting caught in the middle, who do you talk to?
Well, first of all, it's your choice, right? All we can do is provide you the information. Feel free always to reach out to the county commissioners. Our email addresses are out there. Mine is kross@weldgov.com. You can email any of your other commissioners. You can again email that ask the commissioners at weldgov.com. But you can reach out to us, our Department of Health. We can give you some guidelines on what to do. But it ultimately falls back on you. Falls back is the responsibility of you on what you feel comfortable with doing. And I can't tell you to open. I can't tell you to close. That's your decision. That's the great thing about your freedoms and liberties. So that's the best I can answer your question. I know you're probably looking for a hard go to bill or sue and get the yes or the no. Well, that's not how it should work. You're a business owner. You'll make that educated decision, just as you will a consumer.
And if they feel in any way threatened by what the governor's saying, they can contact you.
They can contact us. Absolutely. Right? And we can help walk you through that and make those decisions. Absolutely. Yeah. What other questions did we have?
That's it.
All right.
Answered the rest of them.
Perfect. Well, we have a few more minutes left. A couple things I wanted to talk about is I'd love for you to check out our website. And it's kevinrossforweld.com. Please check it out. We got some great videos up. We have some places where you can volunteer. If you want signs, you can get those. If you want to donate, we would love any donations you may be able to make. $5 gets us a yard sign. If you're willing to give $50, that helps out. If you give us $250, that gets a large 4x8 sign. We've got radio advertising that we're buying. And we've got other things that we're doing on social media. And if you're so inclined, give more. But folks, every little bit helps. And we are greatly appreciative of what you're able to do. And so that we can continue on this fight really for you, the Weld County resident. Also tonight, if you want to check it out, all of us county commissioners, as you can imagine, are all over the news. But I'll be on Channel 4 at 6 p.m. on their 6 p.m. newscast. And I think it was Dylan interviewed me there and asked me many of these same questions, so I'm happy to answer or have you watch those, and you can see how I answered Dylan, and we go from there. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. I know these times are challenging, and as we work through this, we're all doing our best. I know you're doing your best, and as always, you can reach out and talk to me anytime. Feel free to email me at kevinforweld@gmail.com, and that's the number 4, so kevinforweld@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to help you out. But check us out. Everybody stay safe. Enjoy opening back up. Enjoy the beautiful weather we're going to have this weekend. It looks like Sunday's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous. And we'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.